Welcome to the Football Show on PLZ Soccer, sponsored by Arnold Clark. I'm Peter Martin, delighted that you could join us on the show tonight. Gordon Smith and Alan Ruff are with me here in the studio as we talk all things European football and some stories which obviously Hearts fans won't want to hear about. Christoph Berra has picked up an injury which rules him out for 6 months. We'll discuss that later on in the programme, as well as those Europa League ties involving Rangers and Hibernian. But we're not too far away now from kick-off, just an hour to go before Celtic take on AEK Athens in Greece. The return leg evenly balanced now at 1-1. Celtic know they have to score, and to be perfectly honest with you, Alan Ruff, it's been a sideshow with the Dedrick Boyata story. It just will not go away. Looks as if Celtic might look towards Seville to get him out of the club.
Yeah, I think he's definitely got to go. You know, with everything that's coming out for Brendan Rodgers, I think the biggest statement in the lot is he's let his teammates down. You know, we're not going there, so there's no way back for him into that dressing room, obviously, with the way he's handled the whole situation. So Celtic are very fortunate if they've got a bid sitting there that they want to accept, because they really do have to move him on.
The strange thing is it's turned around now. He's saying he's injured.
Yeah.
When did he get injured then? Because
well, that's players. I mean, the amazing thing, Gordon, is if somebody had said when you were playing for Rangers, Gordon Smith's injured, you know, unless somebody let the cat out of the bag from within the camp. Now players are in control of the social media. They can dictate exactly what they want to put out there. He's got a photograph of him lying on a desk with his leg receiving treatment.
I know. But you think to yourself, well, you know, we didn't hear anything about the injury before now. All of a sudden you've had all this, you know, everything that's going on in the last few days about the fact he's refusing to play, his agents coming out making statements about being badly treated, not being treated properly. But now all of a sudden, from the fact was that of he's not playing deliberately because he doesn't want to be injured, is a totally different story then, isn't it?
Can I ask you this? Are we being fair to the lad? If this was a British boy, would we still have the same attitude, or would the kind of I don't know, ill feeling towards that player be even more because they were a homegrown player? Possibly
not. I think you're right. I think it would be probably treated differently, especially if he was a lad who had maybe been a Celtic fan growing up and then became a player there. Maybe totally different. Kieran Tierney would be a good example of that. But the fact is that it's Celtic, you know, are looking at it. His agent's not happy with how the deal's been done. But I think Celtic, the thing they should do now is, if there's money there, if there's a deal to be done, I think they should take that money, and I think they should get someone else in quickly, another centre-back, because that is a weak area for Celtic. That's been a weak area for about a season now.
See, I think the problem here is created once again, Ruffy, by the fact that his agent comes out and starts saying Celtic have denied him a move to Fulham. You know, and at that point, suddenly it all kind of fits in nicely. Agent says, Celtic say another thing, player suddenly injured, doesn't want to play. I mean, you know, players now they have more control over their own destiny. They can force a move. Celtic, I think, would be stupid not to get rid of him with a year left in his deal. You can't scoff at 9 million, even if it's not the 10 or 11 you're looking for.
No, it's amazing. I mean, we keep harping back to when we played, but I mean, the players have got everything now to still have a year in your contract, and you start renegotiating. That was never the case with us. You just sat there and waited until your contract was run out. But they're using it to the extreme now. They're really pushing it out there. If the player doesn't want to stay at a club, the agent's working a move. And the thing he came out with was that Celtic have broken all promises. You know, and what are these promises? You know, because promises, as Gordon will know better than me, they're usually in a contract. You know, if a club comes in and offers 9 million, you let me go. You know, so it's not just a verbal thing.
That's a clause.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's just using it.
If there is a clause that's in a contract, you can't argue with it.
No.
I mean, as soon as somebody triggers that release clause, you know, all bets are off.
Correct.
So clearly that hasn't happened.
It can't be written. No, it must just be a gentleman's agreement or whatever.
He's saying to him, like, you told us, if a reasonable offer come in, you would look at it.
But if Celtic deem it not a reasonable offer, they're perfectly within their rights to say, well, we want this figure.
They are, unless they actually said, well, if we get an offer of this, he can go, and then the agent knows that offer has come in. That would make him angry and maybe make the player angry. I can understand why they've got a case and he would say something then, because that would be a crucial element to it.
I think we all knew before he went to the World Cup, if they hadn't put him on a contract, this was going to happen. You know, because he went away there, obviously. I don't think he had a great World Cup, he had a decent World Cup, but he's in the limelight of the World Cup for these teams to have a look at him, and, that's what happened.
It's funny you saying that, actually. I mean, I was speaking to Alan Brazil this morning. He's mentioned two things which stuck in my head. You know, he had a great World Cup, and I thought he played a couple of games before Vincent Kompany came back in.
Correct.
He didn't stand out as, this fabulous defender that everybody was raving about.
Yep.
If anything, I said to, a number of English people down south, the perception up here is totally different.
Yeah.
Because the Celtic fans look at him and think, he's a bomb scare.
Yeah, he was comfortable in those games, Peter. I saw the games and he was comfortable in them. And I thought Belgium looked a good team, but I knew that they could improve if Kompany came back in, because Kompany's a different level from Boyata. The only thing Boyata's got in his favour more than Kompany was maybe that fitness level, younger, sharper. But I knew that he'd be left out, and all of a sudden Belgium went on to have a good World Cup. But he didn't. But as I say, he is one of these players as well who is not reliable in games. We've seen it before. He's got a lot of assets. There's no question. You could pick out the things he's good at. You could put a video together, which maybe his agent's done, of all the positive things, because he does a lot of positive things, and all of a sudden it costs you a goal.
Well, with all due respect, I could put a video together of Ruffy's best bits, but it's the other video with that vast array of nothingness that we're worried about.
Yeah, I mean, you can't just sit and watch a video for a minute. My saves. You want a wee bit more than that.
Well, I was going to say this to you. I mean, this is something that your former teammate Alan Brazil said to me. It stuck in my head, and you guys know Rolly too well. He said, I would have stuck him in the reserves and just left him there to rot. And I thought to myself, that's the flip side of why players now have so much power, because clubs could ruin your career. They could set you in there, and your whole ability to have a career was ruined.
But they could have done it years ago, because as Ruffy mentioned earlier on, a lot of younger people might not realise this, that in our day when we played, Alan Brazil would at the same kind of era, there was no freedom of contract, which meant that even though your contract, you could sit there for a year and your contract was up, you could not leave a club when your contract was up. Yeah. It was down to the registration they had of you, and they could keep you at the club beyond that if they wanted to. A club did not have to sell you when your contract, and you could not leave a club at any time unless the club you were with agreed to it.
Yeah, OK. It's not long to go before the kick-off, obviously. From our point of view, the later somebody watches this show, if they click in America, 4 or 5 hours later, they already know the score. Yeah. So, Celtic know they have to score. We might as well just discuss, what we think is going to happen. We're not too far away from kick-off. Celtic need to score.
I think Celtic can score, and I think there's every chance they will do, but I still feel their weakness is at the back. And it's mainly because of inexperience, and with Boyata not being there, as I say, I think they're suffering a little bit from that. Simonovic can be a little bit of a risky player at times too.
Yes.
So I think that Celtic are under pressure tonight. I would be pleased for them and surprised if they got through, because I think that normally when you look at the first leg, they've lost a home goal and they haven't won the game. I think that AAK Athens are favourites now.
Ruffy?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really tense night, but I keep saying to myself, this team aren't going to go anywhere in Europe that Celtic are playing. They've not got the quality in their side, so this is a normal, I would say, Europa team that Celtic are playing, and if Celtic have got anything to go into the bigger Champions League, this is a team they need to beat.
Yeah, OK. One other little story which is gathering pace, and I think a lot of nonsense is written at times, that Brendan Rodgers would leave Celtic, quit Celtic if they crashed out of the Champions League. I just think that's a nonsense, Gordon. I mean, at the end of the day, where's he going to go in the Premier League in England? There are no jobs available.
No, absolutely. I just think he's quite angry maybe about the situation at the moment. I think he's done a good job in one respect, but with everything he's been doing and saying in regard to the squad and everything like that, he's putting the onus basically back at Peter Law, I think. Yeah. And Peter Law will be blamed, I think, mainly if Celtic go out of the Champions League this time and they fall behind in the league. It's amazing. I mean, 2 games are gone and Celtic are sitting in 6th place. Yeah. I don't think they'll finish there, But you've got to look at it and go, I think they'll be above that. But the thing you've got to look at it and say...
Top 4?
Yeah. They'll be in the top 6, yeah. No, but if you look at it really logically, you're going to say that if they get out of Europe, it's a big blow to Celtic, because it's brought in a lot of money in recent seasons, and because of the whole thing regarding the signings of players and what's happening with the squad, Brendan Rodgers has actually taken a little heat off himself. I don't think he'll leave by any means, but I think he's more or less made it look as if to say, I'm not getting well treated here.
Okay.
Just correct me, if they do go out tonight, are they in the Europa?
As a playoff.
They've got one game to get, they've got another game to play. Yeah.
So
who would that be against?
Well,
whoever else goes out.
Yeah, whoever else goes out.
It'll be a draw.
It's the draw, and I think that draw will be made on Friday in Nyon in Switzerland. And incidentally, with that in mind, we'll bring you the goals from Glasgow City's great performance. The girls made it through into the last 32 of European football with a win. We'll come back to that and show you it a little later in the programme. But let's look at other stories that I want to get your thoughts on, lads, which is quite simply Christoph Berra. This is a blow. 6 months with a torn hamstring. It must have been one heck of a tear, Ruffy.
Yeah, you could see it at the weekend there when it actually went, and he tried to carry on and he just sort of collapsed to the ground. It looked really, really bad. I thought it was his cruciate. I thought it was something really more serious than that. And I know 6 months is a long, long time to be out, but with the stuff they've got at their disposal, hopefully they can cut that a wee bit.
Yeah, 32 years of age though, Gordon. I mean, it's
definitely
not a good time, especially with that type of injury.
No, I agree with Peter. And the thing about it is, I think it's a big blow to Hearts, really, because they've started the season so well, but he is a top character for them. A captain, a leader, a very, very good defender. He's had a great spell in his career back there at Hearts, and I think they will miss him. I know they brought in young Suter. He came on as a substitute, did well. He's a great prospect, and they've been wanting to bring him through, but I think they're going to miss Berra. And as I say, as Ruffy said, I was watching the game and I saw him going down. I could tell it was bad at first, but it was only when I saw him off the field and he had it all strapped up and all that. At that time, you're thinking, this is serious.
You would think they would go out maybe and get cover for that. Can I put two and two together since the whole world's gone mad? Does this maybe strengthen the case again for maybe looking again at Lee Wallace's situation? I know he's a left back, but he has played centre half before as well.
I think he definitely can play centre half. I think you're right. I've seen him play there left side. I wondered at times why Rangers didn't actually play him in there at times, because I think he's capable of playing there. It could open the door, but they knocked it back as if they didn't want him. There's obviously a financial aspect to it as well.
I don't think
his wages at Rangers will be quite high, won't
I think it's only the wages, Gordon. I don't think it's the fact they don't want him. I think they would take him. Me personally, I think the biggest dilemma in this league, and it's been proven time and time again, is I think he'd be brilliant for Hearts.
Yeah.
My problem is you can't let goal scorers go. Letting a goal scorer of Lafferty's ability can be critical. It can be 2 or 3 spaces in the league position at the end of the season. You can't automatically get rid of him and then think, I'll bring in somebody else, they'll do the job just as well.
Yeah.
No, it's a gamble for them to take. But I mean, you have to say, if you were to value both players, I don't think there's much between them. On the market, if you were to put Lee Wallace up there to buy, what would you be buying him at? You wouldn't be scraping about 200,000, 300,000. So I think if Hearts took him, they would be getting a bargain financially. Compared to what you would value Lafferty at.
Yeah.
But if they do the Lafferty deal with Wallace coming in, it's basically that is 2 players they've had to get in because they need another striker right away as well if Lafferty goes, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, maybe at some point, we've been trying to shunt Lawrence Shanklin out the door in Ayr United for weeks, Ruffy. It hasn't happened, but it needs to be somebody that can hit the ground running, I think, that's got maybe a proven track record in this Hearts side. And strangely enough, dare I say it, because I don't like to tag him too much, Craig Levein, but he likes a tall striker.
Mm-hmm. He's got one, big boy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Nick Piazzu, he likes a tall striker.
Glad you said
Lafferty,
that, not me.
Yeah, exactly. Lafferty is
Shanklin, I think
something different, but equally he has height.
Yeah, I know you mentioned Shanklin, and I'm agreeing with you, Peter, in one respect. I think that he is a boy that could score goals at any level. I do think he's a goal scorer.
Yeah. And
regardless, and playing in one of the better sides in the Premier League, I'm certain he would score goals for Hearts if they decided that it could be a replacement for Lafferty.
In a strange sort of way, I think he's more mature now. I watched him and it didn't work out for him at St Mirren. I didn't see anything there that told me he was a goal poacher supreme. But I think maybe there's been a wake-up call. Some people can respond to the fact they're going down the leagues.
Yep.
Some people just don't react to it and don't think there's a pathway back up. He seems to have grasped the nettle.
Gordon will know better than me. It's goals. You know, even last year, the amount of goals he scored,
Yeah.
his confidence must be high sky. And then this year he started again, 7 or 9. So the confidence is way above. You know, he'll be thinking he could play for anybody just now with the goals he's scoring.
I think you're right. He takes chances, and I think, you know, if Hearts are making chances, he's a player that can stick the ball in the net. And I think, you know, although people might be saying, oh, he's playing a couple of divisions down, I think, like Ruffy's saying, he's maturing, he's getting better, and he scored nearly a goal a game last year for Ayr United, and he started this season in the same sort of form, so I don't see why not. Maybe Ayr wouldn't want to lose him because they're all of a sudden started the season pretty well. Ayr looked decent in recent games, and they've got a big game coming up the weekend in the League Cup as well. But I think that, you know, they get a certain amount of money from, they would have to look at it.
Yep, okay. As far as the other two clubs involved in Europe, Rangers and Hibernian, we're certainly keeping our fingers crossed that we have, you know, more than one club involved in Europe at the end of it. These are tricky ties. 3-1, I think, is a good scoreline, Ruffy, because clearly that third goal for Rangers just gives them that feeling of confidence. It won't be easy. Molde Hibernian's nicely balanced at 0-0, but as far as Rangers are concerned, Ryan Jack, Lasana Koulibaly and Scott Arfield, they look as if they're all going to be fit for that journey to Slovenia.
Yeah, it's the same as the Celtic game against Rosenborg. The goal late on just gives you that wee cushion. The only thing you would worry about was if Maribor scored early on, you know, then they would think they've still got a chance. You know, it makes it a wee bit more nervous. But I think Rangers are capable of going over there, and the evidence the other week there to get a goal. And if they got that goal, I think that would be it, done and dusted.
I think the third goal was crucial on that game, because looking at Maribor, they've had 9 games so far this season, including their European, and their league games have started too. And in the last 3 league games, they've scored 12 goals in the last 3 league games, which shows you they're very, very capable of scoring goals. And I think that, you know, the 3 players you mentioned there, Peter, if I was Steven Gerrard, I'd play the 3 of them in midfield, central midfield, to protect the back, the defence, because it's definitely going to be a tough game for them over there.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I've got a feeling they can get through on this. I thought Maribor were technically good, but it's whether they are suddenly a different animal when they're in their own backyard.
Yeah.
That's the key to it. And of course, listen, we can't rule out the prospect here. This is a Rangers side very much just getting used to Steven Gerrard. He's building his own team. So, you know, to expect his side to suddenly be, you know, up and running on how to cope with away football in Europe is it's a totally different game, as you well know.
Yes, definitely. But one thing he has done, which I've seen so far, is he's strengthened that defensive area for Rangers. That was a weakness last year. I mean, they ended up scoring the most goals in the Premier League last year, but of the top 6 teams, Peter, Rangers had lost the most goals, which is a sign that even though they finished up third place, challenging for second, defensively they were one of the worst in that top area, or the worst in terms of goals lost. So that's why I think they've definitely strengthened there with the changes he's made to the back 4, the goalkeeper, and with these midfield players you mentioned there, this is a crucial element. That's what can take Rangers through on Thursday night if they can play in the same way as they started the season and play very tight, because Maribor will be a real threat.
Yep, absolutely. Confident they can get through?
I'm confident because they get the 2-goal lead. I think that's made a big difference, yeah.
Ruffy?
Yeah, I think on the evidence of last week, I think they are capable of getting a goal. So that would be enough for me.
Yeah. Now, this return leg for Hibs against Molde is a different kettle of fish. I think this one's a tight one. It might take something a wee bit special from Hibs to get this one in their favour, Ruffy. The one great thing about them is they do have a manager who's been over the course. I mean, if anybody can transfer all his experience about what's required, it's Neil Lennon.
No, in the first leg, there was no evidence to me this were a wonderful team that they were playing. I mean, Hibs had chances to win that game, maybe just 1-0, possibly 2. So he'll take the confidence that his team isn't leaking the goals they were earlier on in the month. And they'll go there and hopefully they can nick something. I think they're capable enough to get a 1 each.
I think Hibs could get through because they are good going forward. The big aspect for them, obviously, is defensively too. At times, you know, they can be a bit of a worry. I thought Ambrose was outstanding at the weekend, though, against St Johnstone, and they were unlucky to lose the goal in the game they did. But I think that looking at Hibs, I think they're capable. So the fact they've lost a goal at home, I think they will score away, and it's a question of keeping it tight. But I think Hibs can go through.
Yeah,
yeah.
You're in an optimistic mood since
I
the start
am.
of the season. Things are going well for the big man.
While he's optimistic, are you giving Watt that goal that he's claiming?
No, it's not his goal.
By the way, I've never witnessed a player so miffed. Over the last couple of days, he wants the goal, but nobody's having it for him.
The referee gave him it. Is it the referee that makes the decision?
No, it was actually.
The referee said
it was actually me that made that decision. I must be honest with you.
What?
No, he said.
What do you mean you made that decision?
It was a meeting with I was in the FIFA football committee, and we had to have a discussion on what is an on goal.
Oh right, I thought you said you were on the Tony Watt committee. I thought,
we all had to put forward our idea, and I am boasting now when I tell you this, Peter. But I put forward the idea that if the ball is not on, the original effort is not on target and goes in, it's an own goal.
Yeah.
If it's even if it's on target and deflects, it goes to the player.
Yeah.
And who seconded my opinion?
The referee.
Pelly.
Yeah. I was quite pleased with that.
Well, I'm happy with that, by the way. Who would have thought Gordon Smith and boasting? Well,
I know.
There's our first. Anyway, let's crack on.
Never done it before.
No, exactly. I'm glad you narrowed it down to today. Let's look at. We're talking about European football. I've got to talk about the Glasgow City performance, because this against Gornik was superb. I think there was touch and go. Glasgow City had to score 2 goals, Ruffy, for the girls, but in the end they managed it, and they go through with Anderlecht, and well done to them. Yeah,
it must have been a nervous night for them. Obviously they knew the goal difference that they had to do. They got a goal here. It's like a work goal, good header. To go 1-up, but they knew exactly what they had to do, because I think one of the other games was going on 8-9-0, so they knew they needed
10-0.
Yeah, they know they needed a goal, and it's a well worked goal. The good throw in and they play it wide here. A good touch here. Well, not such a good touch there, but there is a good touch here. And
Joe Love and Sam Kerr scoring.
Yeah, and it's good because year on year they've been getting into the last 32, and obviously the more you get there, the more confidence you get. I hope they get a fortunate draw. I think the last couple of years they've been getting some of the bigger sides, so a favourable draw, good strike there into the back of the net. And
they do a great job. They represent Scotland very well, I've got to say that. I was quite amazed years ago, Peter, when I found out that these girls, Glasgow City, they were actually training 5 nights a week, which I found astounding, with the fact that part-timers, girls, it's not their main occupation, and yet they were training 5 nights a week.
Yeah,
and not only the first team, there's teams down age groups as well.
Yeah,
they're all turning up as well for the next generation.
Well, I think as it goes on and on, 20 years, 30 years, whether we'll all be here or not, but I think it will get up to that level where women's tennis has managed to get it to. People will start to watch it in greater numbers. The money will come into it. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But the pioneers, over the last 10 years, will be able to look back at saying they had the love of the game. Maybe not the finances, but fair play to Glasgow City, doing everybody proud, and well done to Scott Booth as well. A couple of stories before we finish, and it's probably one of them an indication of where we are in Scottish football. James Wilson says he's going to use his move to Aberdeen to put himself in the shop window. Now, it hasn't quite gone according to plan, and the loan deals he's gone elsewhere hasn't worked out for him. So this is one of those, he's in the final year of his Man United deal, so he's going to use it for a full season at Aberdeen.
Yeah, and I know, well, we all know that the money that's involved when you go back down to England is unbelievable. We're talking about the boy Maddison, who was there last year, and he gets a move for like £20 million, so they've got a player, and I'm sure Derek will be saying if the boy enjoys where he is up at Aberdeen, and if he goes back to Man United, they don't want him. It depends what kind of money they're talking about, obviously, but certainly they've got a player who knows that if he hangs on in there, it could be big money. I
think probably Derek McInnes has said to him when he's brought him in, shop window. And I think that if you've got a player with that kind of attitude, at least he's going to be very committed. Yeah, absolutely. Good luck to him. Good luck to him in the Aberdeen side. If he scores goals, the Dons fans will be happy. We've run out of time. Hopefully you've enjoyed the programme. Tomorrow on the programme, we will discuss the AEK Athens Celtic result, and we'll also look ahead to Maribor against Rangers and Malda against Aberdeen. From Ruffy, Gordon Smith and myself, Peter Martin, thanks for watching.